merely commented on his moving against his current deputy governor to get him impeached. And I felt it was unconscionable on his part. It was morally wrong because Okorocha passed through me to become governor. I was national chairman of ABGA in 2011 when he contested for this office. And I knew the road to the Douglas house in Owerri. It was a very difficult road we passed through. As the national chairman of the party, then the present deputy governor is wanting to impeach that I spoke against, was his chief of staff. They had been together for about 20 years before he contested that election. And during the time we were campaigning in Owerri, in Imo State, I was there myself. This current deputy governor was arrested, and detained for 3 weeks because he was accused of arranging people that attacked Obasanjo when he visited Owerri at that time. PDP was in charge at that time. I had to do a series of press conferences taken on the Inspector General of Police then to get the Madumere released. Eventually, few days to the election, he was let off. And when we went to that election, we won, ABGA won, and of course, there was a twist. The election was not declared, the result was not declared for the simple reason that they didn't want ABGA and Okorocha to take the victory. We had to go into very strenuous advocacy. I was on television all the time, and I had to come to INEC with Senator Chris Anyanwu and Chief Martin Abaso to make a presentation at INEC that led to the cancellation of election in Ohajeboma local government, Uguta local government, a repeat for Mbitolu local government where the twist happened, and then Ngokpala where election never took place. It was after that presentation that INEC ordered a supplementary election. We had a 46,000 lead after those cancellations, and a rerun, a supplementary election, was scheduled. Okorocha refused to take part in the supplementary poll. Instead, he headed to the Federal High Court, Abuja, to stop the election from taking place. I moved my people to Imo State with myself. It was at that place that I insisted that ABGA was going to take part in the supplementary election, because that was the only way we could get that victory finally achieved. He did not see it himself, who is governor today. He didn't see it. He opposed the supplementary poll. He was in court. But because I said ABGA will participate in the supplementary poll, because I knew that was the only way out. If we hadn't held that supplementary poll, 28,000 votes for PDP that were cancelled in Ohajebema would have been added to PDP. So he was very naive. He didn't see these things. We drove it. I drove it, and went to that supplementary poll where I also served as a local government coalition agent in Mbitolu. He didn't know. He didn't have the understanding of how to conclude the process. We were there, and because Mbitolu was the most problematic local government, I had to go there with a tag like this, and stayed overnight and ensured that we came out with the result that gave us final victory, apart from winning other places. So it was very heartrending for me to see some of the things he did. And again, before he emerged as a candidate, there was an agreement. I was a witness to the agreement he signed with Chief Martin Abaso. I still have the original copy with me, where Okorocha dictated the terms of that agreement. He considered the leadership of the party to Chief Abaso, and they also said Abaso should nominate the deputy. Abaso now nominated his younger brother, Jude Abaso, as deputy. We went to the election. As soon as we won, he changed the whole thing. You see, and along the line in 2013, he impeached that Jude Abaso, who came in as the deputy governor. On the agreement, he dictated the terms. He didn't honor the agreement. Along the line, he left ABGA and went away. Leaving ABGA wasn't the greater problem, but the issue is his governance of the state. So it's very heartbreaking for me to see a man who came very humbly, answering me, yes, sir, getting to that office and started bullying everybody. He removed his deputy, impeached him. That was not enough for him. Going through his governance profile, you are a journalist, you've been covering activities there, insulting religious leaders every day. That's even people who supported him to become governor. Life is not like that. So when he moved against his second deputy now, I felt it would be a guilt of silence if people don't call him to order. So I had to bring him to his moral sense that what he's doing is not what a Christian should do. It's a bad record for somebody to be governor and impeach 2 deputy governors within his tenure of office. I told him not to do that. So, of course, I expressed regret that somebody who passed through our hands to become governor is behaving like this. So he just retorted and said I was whiling away time in the Senate. That was not a reply expected from him. So somebody who is a trickster, Okorocha is a trickster. If you cannot live by the words you profess, you cannot aspire to leadership. Leadership is about honor and consistency of character. If you tell somebody this is what you are going to do, and you get into office and begin to do the opposite of what you promised, it's 419. So he's a complete trickster, and I don't want to put my energy on him. He's already a drowning man. He's a sinking ship in Imo State. He wants to make his son-in-law governor of Imo State to succeed him. When he became governor, Eze Madumere was chief of staff. His son-in-law was deputy chief of staff. Along the line, he married his daughter, And now that he's going, he wants that his son-in-law to succeed him and the deputy governor to be impeached. I think it's the type of thing Idi Amin did in Uganda. In a society of this level of development, you cannot tolerate leaders who behave like that, who cannot see what the society wants, what the standard should be. His son-in-law is from his zone in Imo State. So when he finishes, he'll foist him on the state. And is that the way to provide leadership? So I only made a small remark that he should not muzzle the ox he used to thresh grain, and he found it offensive and he descended on me that I'm not doing anything here. You've been covering my activities here. Have I been idle here? I've not been idle. So he's the one who is failing in governance, and the reply he has to give to something he has no defense to is that I'm just settling down in the Senate. So in answer to your question, Okorocha is a trickster, and nobody should take him serious. He has 10 months from now to give account of his stewardship. That is my consolation, because in 10 months' time, he will be out of office. Reality will dawn on him. All the people who played any role in helping him become governor, all of them are his enemies today. Is that the way to provide leadership? It's when he leaves office that he will now know the difference between public treasury and private treasury. When you use public treasury and public trust to enlarge your coast, by the time you leave office, people will come after you. And being reckless, those who served him over the years, they are the people he's annihilating today. They are the people who will help investigations when the time comes. So you should go and take Panadol and sleep, and know that governance is a very serious business, and leadership is a public trust. You cannot abuse it. You go to your village and build a private university with state resources. These things are open there. You cannot convert state resources to private resources. It was last year he appointed his sister, blood sister, sibling, commissioner for happiness, and people are writing it. Any person who is serious, is that the type of intervention? Is that the type of governance somebody will provide? Even Mandela himself seeing such thing will be crying in his grave. The type of leaders we have produced in Africa, where you will come and play to the gallery with the plight of your people, with abandoned projects littered everywhere. Go to Imo State and see what is going on there. 27 hospitals he started, one per local government, all of them are abandoned. And he's saying that I'm not doing anything at the Senate. So I'm only calling on his moral conscience to know that there are boundaries a leader cannot cross, you know. So if he thinks that he's a Superman, let him complete the impeachment of Eze Madumere. He will regret it. I know very soon he will run away from the process, because you cannot be sleeping with somebody who knows everything about you. Tomorrow you wield a stick as if the person is not a human being again. Some of these things will come to bear. So what you read was just a misplaced aggression. The man is drowning in Imo State. And I had to say so, because if I didn't tell him that, it means that I encouraged what he was doing, haven't come through my hands to become governor. So I simply dissociated myself and asked God for forgiveness. That was what I did. Were you blind? Eh? Were you blind? No, when he was coming and said, cheers, sir, sorry, sir, cheers, sir. That's why I'm calling him a trickster. You know, somebody who will tell you, cheers, sir. That's my odd lead there. He's been working with me since 14 years. He was always saying him, cheers, sir, yes, sir, yes, sir. You know, so now he has become governor and everybody is a fool. That's what I'm saying. So a leader should be humble in ascending office. If you get into office, the office should not get into your head. You should become the normal person. If he was calling me Chiasa before he became governor, there's no reason why he can make this type of statement to me, because I was the person who was in a position determining his fate at that time at no cost. Because he promised that he was going to make Imo State El Dorado, and that he was a very great philanthropist, training children of poor people, you know. So is he not obtaining by false pretense? So we thought we were moving together. And as soon as he got in there, he became a tiger. He became a tiger, and even Chiasa disappeared, you know. all those things. So I had to sincerely speak out against his activities in order not to make him a model of somebody who can be governor. You know, he's a failed governor. I'm so sorry about that. ABGA, the party that I led for 10 years as chairman, has run the government of Anambra State for 12 years now. Is on the 13th year. If you go there, you see how the manifesto of the party had been used by the former governor and the current governor to develop that state. The place is very peaceful, working, doing everything to bring in international foreign partners to aid development. You go to Imo State, what you see, a tower, Akachi Tower. It's 10 months to go now. And when he came, he said he will make Okiwe will look like London, then Olu will be like New York, and Owerri will be like Washington, D.C. Has he done that? So I'm sorry. You know, when you want to seek opportunity to lead the people, you must be organized. And when God gives you that opportunity, you must be humble with that. So what he's doing is that he's bullying people. I don't like it. And I called him to order. I'm in a position to call him to order. As my younger brother, I'm older than him. Incidentally, I'm older than him. So I'm in a position to advise him. And knowing that I have so much to talk about, I'm in a position to call him to order. Those agreements that I have, he knows I have them with his signature. If he talks again in the next 1 week, I will publish some of them, so that he will know that 419 cannot be used to get to leadership. It's something that out of the plight of the people you live with, you feel things are not working well, and you offer yourself to be part of the solution, correction. You come out, not to use trick to take power, and then leave your people despondent. That's what he has done in Imo State. So it's a very sad commentary. Thank you.
Last question.